WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Here with Angelo of Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street. I'm going to be at Mobile Bay Coins today from 9 until 10 for a live episode of Ask the Expert. We would love to see you there, theoretically, there at Mobile Bay Coins. Now, Angelo, overnight, I saw that President Trump went on Twitter and endorsed Luther Strange. President Trump endorsed Luther Strange on the incredibly powerful Donald Trump Twitter feed. In fact, he said, let me see if I can find the exact wording of this. President Trump said of Luther Strange, he has my complete and total endorsement. So not just my endorsement, his complete and total endorsement. Now, Mo Brooks, his communications director, just 3 minutes ago sent an email out to the media. I'm in the media, so I got the email. Subject line on the email is news release statement from Congressman Mo Brooks on President Trump's endorsement. Email reads, Congressman Mo Brooks made the following statement, quote, I respect President Trump, but I am baffled and disappointed Mitch McConnell and the swamp somehow misled the president into endorsing Luther Strange. Perhaps the president is unaware that Luther Strange corruptly and unethically held a criminal investigation over the head of a disgraced governor to obtain the Senate appointment. Perhaps President Trump is unaware that Luther Strange wants to keep the Senate's 60% rule that empowers Chuck Schumer and the Democrats to kill the entire conservative, Republican, and President Trump legislative agendas. Perhaps President blah, and it's some blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you can find this yourself if you want to online. He goes on, Mo Brooks goes on to say, the president has bigger things going on than a campaign, that's for sure. In any event, while Mitch McConnell and the swamp managed to mislead the president last night, I still support the America First agenda, and all the polls show we have momentum. So Mo Brooks claiming that the swamp misled the president and tricked him into endorsing Luther Strange. It is.
So I guess, President Trump was huffing swamp gas or something and got a little confused.
Well, this is it's going to be a delight when this is all over.
But I actually agree with some of what he's saying. If you look at Luther Strange's record and some of the things that were happening with the former governor, it makes you wonder why the president would come out and do such a strong endorsement for him.
Well, it is. I would love to know the behind-the-scenes story of how this endorsement, because to be mentioned on this Twitter feed is amazingly. That's huge. So I would love to know what was said behind the scenes. All right, hey, traffic and weather together, and then more show.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Quiet morning all around the region. If you're traveling on I-10, crossing the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel, Causeway, and the Bankhead, and the trip on I-65 down to the I-10 interchange, all of that remains in pretty good shape throughout the area. More and more school kids will be hitting the road today. It is the first day of the new school year in Satsuma, so slow down as you approach those school zones morning and afternoon. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale, new and pre-owned. RVsunlimited.com.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. It's going to feel like a steam bath early by the afternoon, about a 50-50 shot of wet weather. We're going to be flirting with 90 degrees for the high today. Dress light, keep the umbrella close, and we're going to keep the status quo as we head into Thursday. The weather pattern remains unchanged as we head into the weekend. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show here. News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM. The Jag here with Angelo of Mobile Bay Coins. John McNeil is on the line. John McNeil, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. Angelo, how are y'all this morning?
Doing good. Good morning, sir.
Y'all have been talking about so many topics, I don't even know where to start. But
all right. Well, look, well, wait. I want you to collect your thoughts while we have this for you.
John McNeil.
All right. Now
I've got my thoughts collected.
Good.
Angelo, I know you look at gold prices all day, every day. It looks like gold's up almost $10.50 in London this morning just because of the higher tensions we have between North Korea and the United States. Everything seems to be going up. Dollar's going down, gold's going up. Everybody's rushing to the gold, as typically happens in times like this. Do you have a lot of calls that happen when things like this go on?
We certainly do, and it's one of the things that we've talked about a lot at the shop is the fact that a lot of times when gold and silver prices are down, people don't buy, but as soon as the prices start to shoot up, people rush out and buy. And everybody's always behind the curve a little bit on those things. And so I'd like to see some folks come by and talk to us now that gold and silver prices are starting to move, because you're right. If tensions continue on with North Korea, which obviously they're going to do, then that's going to continue to drive metal prices up. So it's a better opportunity to buy it now while they're climbing but not at the peak. I'm afraid too many people are going to try to jump in at the peak, and that's never a smart time to buy anything.
It's the same thing in our, when we're talking about investing, and
Sure.
people see the market going up, and they say, well, I'm on the sidelines. I got to get in. And they get in, and all of a sudden, boom. The little guys are the ones that get hurt, and it's a shame. People need to get a plan and come talk to y'all or come talk to us and get a plan together, because they all work in tandem.
Well, exactly. You've got to educate yourself first. I know we've talked about that a lot. Educate yourself and then make your decisions. Don't just jump in and buy something and then after the fact wonder why in the heck you did it or what it is you just bought.
Exactly. Now, Uncle Henry, going back to the debate, I did watch the debate. I got home right at 6 o'clock, turned it on and watched the whole thing. I thought Mayor Stimson did a great job. I was so glad that TV 15 did those fact checks, because Sandy really called Sam Jones, called him down and said, I think you're mistaken. Didn't call him a liar, said, I think you're mistaken as far as the debt he ran up and the credit ratings and everything else. All that turned out to be what Sandy said was in truth, the facts. And hopefully, I don't know what kind of audience they had on TV, but hopefully people were watching and listening to that debate.
Well, a lot of people did. Just the reaction to the whole "I didn't get invited to the party" thing. That was, that was all over town with people talking about that.
Yeah, I forget who you talked to yesterday. One of the national correspondents said, "It's my party. I'll cry for." Or the attorney.
That was Jeff Dean. Yes.
Yeah, Jeff Dean. That was good. And there's a lot of the. I've been seeing on your Facebook page a lot of the. I guess the jokes of the of Sam Jones, but I think Sam, he needs to go have his own party somewhere and let Sandy keep doing what he's doing, and everybody needs to get out and vote. And don't forget we have 2 elections, and don't get them confused.
That's right. John McNeil, have to run. We're out of time in this segment.
John McNeil.
MALfinancial.com, 666-5000, the telephone number. John McNeil, have a wonderful day. More in a moment on the Uncle Henry Show.
Hi, I'm Congressman Mo.
And we remain on Facebook here with Angelo, who brings in edged weapons. Angelo, do you want to show another edged weapon or item from your weapon collection?
Well, sure. And this is actually a movie prop. And I thought about this because one of my friends, actually the one that sent me this, has been having some health issues, and she's doing better now. But it's very lightweight. It's an aluminum sword.
This is very lightweight. So this would hurt if you hit somebody upside the head with it, but you're not going to chop something off with it.
Well, no, and if you notice, the edge of the sword is hacked and gouged and banged up quite a bit. This was actually used in a movie that she had written and directed out there in California, and she was also acting in it as well. And a couple years ago, she sent that to me as sort of a souvenir of her movie and her book and whatnot. So it was fun, and I figured we're talking about Game of Swords or Game of Thrones and playing with swords and all these different things. So great opportunity to bring that in and show it off. And Tara, I know you're not listening because you're on Cali time, but hey, I'm glad you're doing well.
You're on Cali time. Is that what's said? Did people say that?
I just did, didn't I?
Yeah, but I mean, did you make that up, or is that
they're on California time. They're 2 hours ahead, and
do they call it Cali?
She does whenever I talk to her.
So she says this.
She has said Cali.
I'm on Cali time.
Yes.
Ariel, have you heard that? Is that a thing that's said? Ariel is not buying into it either. All right, well.
Huh. You're both doubting me.
I'm not. No, it's not doubting you.
No,
it's just this woman she's invented her own language.
Well, that's fine.
And that's what people do that make their own movies.
Hey, when you're in Hollywood, they do all sorts of strange things, right?
All right. So this was in a movie, and she brandished this in the movie?
Yes, brandished it and sword fought with it and did all sorts of cool things.
All right. What was the movie called?
See, you're putting me on the spot. It's actually called Legend of the...
She's a good enough friend that she sent you a sword.
Legend of the Red Reaper was the movie.
Legend of the Red Reaper.
And her character was the Red Reaper.
Okay.
She is supposed to be half human, half witch, and half demon, which I know is three halves. She had a lot going on there.
That is okay. This may be why I have not heard of this film.
There you go.
There was some certain problems with the math. All right. Well, this is certainly
different.
This is something. I'm glad Angelo brought it because number one, I get to pretend that I'm physically fit enough to hold a sword. Because if this were a real sword, I probably would need both hands. Right? Swords are heavy.
Quite heavy, as a matter of fact. And a lot of people don't realize how heavy swords are. And that's, again, why they make the movie swords and prop swords out of something much lighter weight.
Well, in movies, when somebody's sword fighting with just one hand,
right,
unless it's one of these French
rapiers,
isn't it kind of unrealistic to sword fight with one hand when most of them you need to use it like a bat?
You really do need to use both hands for most swords. Now, there are some fighting techniques that you use one hand, but it takes a lot of physical strength, just like we were talking about with the pole fitness classes and the upper body strength that you have to work on. Wielding a sword, especially a broadsword or something like that, is not easy, and it's not simple. You're gonna definitely work up a sweat if it's something you haven't done before and haven't built up to.
Okay, thank you for bringing that in. That's an item from Angelo's personal collection.
Yes, sir.
Of edged weaponry. We're going to be back on the radio in about 1 minute. Stand by. We've got traffic and weather, and then we're back on the radio.
Way in the Bankhead and the I-10 Escambia Bay Bridge in Pensacola moving along well. We're seeing light volume out there. No big problems early this morning. Road work continues in Fairhope for the new traffic circle installation at Highway 13 in Gayfer. That project runs through September. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. You can bank on more steam heat today. We will be flirting with 90 degrees for the high temperature. Half the viewing area getting wet. Our coverage will be at about 50-50, so keep that umbrella close. The weather pattern remains unchanged as we head into the upcoming weekend. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. We have news headlines coming up in about 10 minutes from Fox and from Local 15's Darwin. Angelo's here from Mobile Bay Coins. We talked in the first part of the hour about President Trump tweeting. He tweeted an endorsement of Luther Strange in the Senate race. The tweet reads as follows: Senator Luther Strange has done a great job representing the people of the great state of Alabama. He has my complete and total endorsement. Complete and total endorsement of President Trump. I'd mentioned a few minutes ago, Angelo, that I'm really curious about what went on behind the scenes. How did this come about? I'd like to know the story of how the endorsement came about, because this is the most powerful Twitter account in all of the universe. Even though he doesn't have the most Twitter followers, still, all he's got to do is tweet something and it's all over the place. It's all over the news.
Exactly.
So this is quite a thing for him to have done. I'd love to know what led to it.
What was he told about Luther Strange that prompted this tweet?
I've got an email on the topic.
Cool.
Subject line on the email is endorsement. Email reads, do you think they could have convinced Trump to endorse him by agreeing to pass something? Could be just part of a deal. Have a good one. And that email from T. Taylor. Well, T. Taylor, I hope that Alabama got something out of it other than just Luther Strange. No offense to Luther Strange. I do not make endorsement. I'm prevented from making endorsements in these campaigns. I'm just saying, I hope we got more out of it than Luther Strange. T. Taylor, thank you. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. And if you just tuned in, Mo Brooks has responded with a statement claiming that he's baffled. Well, let me get the exact words from Mo Brooks. Baffled, yes, baffled. Mo Brooks says he's baffled and disappointed that Mitch McConnell and the swamp somehow misled the president into endorsing Luther Strange.
Mitch McConnell and the Swamp. Sounds like a 60s band.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds like somebody you'd go see perform in downtown Mobile.
Like the Archies or something.
Well, that's the latest on the Senate race in Alabama. It's a week from today, I believe, that it'll be Tuesday or less than a week from today. It's going to be next Tuesday that you go vote. Meanwhile, speaking of President Trump, the war of words with North Korea, there was the report that North Korea was looking at shooting missiles at Guam, and President Trump responded by saying that we would meet these threats with fire and fury or something like that.
Right.
The governor of Guam, Eddie Calvo, somebody that it takes a threat like this for us to know who the governor of Guam is. Eddie Calvo says he wants Guam to be prepared for any eventuality.
I've reached out to the White House this morning. An attack or threat on Guam is a threat or attack on the United States. They have said that America will be defended.
Okay. If I were the governor of Guam, I would also be reaching out to the White House. That is definitely something that I would be doing, especially after hearing that North Korea thinks that we're the easy target here. Here again is the governor of Guam.
Guam is American soil, and we have 200,000 Americans in Guam and the Marianas. We are not just a military installation.
Angelo, do you know a lot about Guam? Have you ever thought a lot about Guam?
Believe it or not, I actually have at one point in time. One of the original governors of Guam right after the Spanish-American War was from Point Claire, Alabama.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And since we do buy a lot of estate jewelry and things like that, we had actually bought his military class ring from the family and resold it to another military person here in town.
All right, wait a minute. All right, let's back up.
Yes, sir.
Because I have just been blissfully ignorant about this, and now my ignorance bubble has been burst. So somebody who was the governor of Guam came from Point Clear.
Correct.
So we have a connection.
Yes, sir.
All right, here's more from Eddie Calvo, the governor of Guam.
I want to ensure that we are prepared for any eventuality. I will be convening the Unified Coordination Group, which includes myself and the Rear Admiral, and to discuss the state of readiness of our military and our local first responders.
Well, this is, I guess I'm like a lot of people. I don't see where this is going. I don't understand how it's in the best interest of North Korea to keep pursuing all this stuff. Because the more missiles they shoot and the higher their rhetoric goes, the more sanctions.
Right.
Their situation continues to worsen as they continue doing what they're doing, but they don't care. They continue to do what they do. I just don't. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around what.
The two things that bother me right now with all of this that's going on is, number one, Guam is an American territory, one of our territories, so that's an act of war against the United States.
Exactly.
And the people, not the crazy dictator there, but the people are going to be disenfranchising themselves from him because they're going to be in harm's way.
Yes, indeed. All right, look, Uncle Henry's show continues. Thank you for listening. News, traffic, weather, all of that is next.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Nervousness is gripping the markets today, with gold and treasuries rising as tension grows between the U.S. and North Korea. S&P futures are down 9 points, Dow futures are down 30, NASDAQ futures are down 32. The U.S. futures are tracking global markets lower. Meanwhile, gold is headed for its largest gain this month. Disney plans to sell some of its premier content directly to consumers online starting next year, offering live sports and animated films including Toy Story 4, and sidestepping from Netflix to pay TV providers such as Comcast and DirecTV. The need for Disney to act was underscored by quarterly results. Sales and profit fell in the latest quarter because of weakness in the cable TV division, especially ESPN. That's where subscribers and ad sales shrank. Today, investors are watching for a second quarter look at non-farm productivity. That is due an hour before Wall Street's opening bell. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
This is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about Dr. Thomas Bender and Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. We love living on the Gulf Coast. We love all the fun activities, the fishing, the golf. But years of being out in the elements, well, that can accelerate damage to your skin. That can accelerate the aging process.
Here we are with Angelo of Mobile Bay Coins. Let's see. I've got a testimonial, Angelo.
Okay.
Well, look, let's see. I want to go ahead and share this testimonial with the Facebook folk. Subject line on the email is testimonial for Mobile Bay Coins. Email reads, this morning around 4:37, I heard one of my daughters shrieking at the top of her lungs from her bedroom.
710 times it.
In one fluid motion, I grabbed an edged weapon purchased from Angelo at Mobile Bay Coins and swiftly moved through the house toward her bedroom. Turned out to be a bug on the wall. And she was being a little girl. I know proper procedure would have been to grab a sidearm, but I was half awake at the time. It's nice to know that thanks to purchases from Mobile Bay Coins, the Old Testament option was available if needed. and that email from KP. Did you bring anything like that today? Would the Latin machete fit the KP situation?
I think the Latin machete would fit
Would
that
you
fairly
mind
nicely.
if we brandish this again?
Matter of fact, he's probably, if he's watching right now, he might be going, ooh, because that is definitely a good working tool, a good useful device. Talked to somebody just the other day about that and sent them pictures, and they started talking about having one at their hunting camp to clear brush for deer hunting, one in their duck boat for clearing cane for a duck blind and things of that nature. They had lots of ideas on how to use that tool.
This is a Cold Steel Anytime Anywhere Latin Machete Plus 18-inch blade. So this is toolish.
It is definitely toolish, but if you were the bug on the wall, you'd probably be a little concerned if you saw that coming at you.
Well, no kidding. I'm going to be concerned if anybody is coming at me with it. No doubt about it. All right. So this now, is this something you have for sale?
Yes, sir. That's actually, we've sold several. That's the last one I've got in stock. I've got those and the Royal Kukri machetes that you were displaying last time I was on the air. I've got some of those back in stock again there at the shop. But Kukri, a limited supply.
I sleep with the Kukri on my nightstand.
Okay, I'm glad you qualified with on the nightstand.
Well, yeah, I don't want to cut myself.
I just envisioned you cuddling up with your Kukri, which is a disturbing image, by the way.
Well, the Kukri is a machete that's kind of curved like a boomerang or something.
Great weight to it, though. Have you cut any brush out in the yard with it yet?
I have not cut anything with it. I like it, and I want to keep it pretty until I need it.
The pretty Kukri. I like that.
Well, yeah.
It is. It is a beautiful weapon, though.
It is a beautiful thing. I don't want to hack away at anything and mess up the beauty of the Kukri. All right. So, and again, going to be at Mobile Bay Coins today from 9 until 10. And I don't know if we'll talk about knives or not when we're there at Mobile Bay Coins, but we're talking about them now. All right, let's see. We're about to go. We've got just a few minutes left in this break before we go any further on the program. In entertainment news, I saw that David Letterman is going to do a TV show again for Netflix.
What?
Yes, he's going to. And I saw an interview with him just last week where he said that he did not want to do another TV show. He just did not want to do one. And now Netflix has announced he's going to do one. And it's going to be an hour-long interview show.
Really?
Yes.
Now, is it just a limited amount? Is he doing like 4 episodes or something? Very limited?
I think it's less than 10.
Okay. So maybe that was the kickers. He doesn't have to do a continual thing. He can just do it, get it out of the way, and then go back to being retired and doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if he's being drawn back into it because he wants to talk. He wants to be political.
Probably so.
That may be the attraction to him, but I don't know. I'll be fine. I'll hear from other people.
I'm sure we'll find out.
I'll hear from other people with that. But that did. I found that quite intriguing. That's the opposite of what Johnny Carson would have done, which Johnny retired and then almost never was seen again for the rest of his life. And he also, Johnny was anti bringing politics into your show.
Right. He was really strong about that, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. All right, we're about to go back on the radio here in about 90 seconds, so please stick with us if you can. Back in 90 seconds.
Right to own guns, but to keep those rights, we need to be responsible and secure our firearms. Do your part to protect your family and friends. Lock them up. Mike Ward's Liberty Safes, Moffett and I-65. Look for the giant yellow safe.
The folks at Mobile Bay Harley know how important it is to keep your bike properly maintained. That's why they're offering a 3-year preferred service plan with the purchase of a new Harley-Davidson. That's right, they'll take care of your regularly scheduled maintenance for 3 years, so you don't have to. The only thing you have to worry about is your next destination. And don't forget, bike nights are back every other Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. because at Mobile Bay Harley, there's always a party.
The IRS doesn't mess around. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. If you owe back taxes, call Optima Tax Relief. Optima has access to a special IRS program called the Fresh Start Initiative, and their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. Optima is A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. Don't delay. Call now for your free consultation.
Call 800-960-1575. 800-960-1575.
You're home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Angelo's here from Mobile Bay Coins. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent. I'm going to talk to him about the base of support for President Trump. People have claimed that I don't remember who was making the claim that his support was dropping among his base, but the president was tweeting a lot in the last few days about how his base continues to support him strongly. So, and I'm probably gonna I might report to Joe Gomez about the whole Luther Strange, Mo Brooks, Trump endorsement to get his take. And by the way, if you just joined us, President Trump endorsed Luther Strange on Twitter, saying that Luther Strange has his complete and total endorsement. And Mo Brooks this morning has released a statement saying that he's baffled and disappointed that Mitch McConnell and the swamp somehow misled the president into endorsing Luther Strange. One of the things I'm curious about here is this going to matter? Are people, for example, I know that a lot of people that support Judge Roy Moore are likely big supporters of President Trump.
Right.
Will any of those people switch based on the endorsement? I know that a lot of people that support Mo Brooks probably support President Trump. And a lot of people that I know that a lot of people voting in the Republican primary for all these different candidates support the president at one level or another. I wonder will this make any difference? Now, it's making a difference in that we're talking about it, but will anybody actually change a vote based on that tweet?
My opinion, probably not. It seems like the people that are supporting their candidates right now feel very strongly about that particular candidate for reasons that are rather unrelated to Donald Trump's commentary.
Yeah, I don't know how this has got to be one of the most powerful endorsements you can get.
True.
But at the same time, do endorsements matter anymore?
Not so much, because you made a comment that what's going on behind the scenes? Why did this endorsement happen? And I think more and more, a lot of people hear an endorsement, whether it's for an individual or even for a product, and you start to get a little cynical nowadays because there's so many endorsements and comments out there. You don't know which ones are real, that somebody actually liked and enjoyed something, and which one of these are either, like you said, there's a deal going on, or it's a paid-for endorsement.
The comment from Mo Brooks that Mitch McConnell and the swamp somehow misled the president into endorsing Luther Strange, I'm going to guess that a lot of supporters of other candidates are going to think the same thing.
Right.
They're going to say, we still like President Trump, we still support him, but we feel like he's been somehow misled. And we're going to continue to support who we're supporting. At least that's my guess.
That's your take on it?
Time holds the answer.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Porsche Traffic Center.
We picked up a hit-and-run accident on Highway 98 and Schillinger Road, but for the most part, kind of a quiet morning. No big accidents or breakdowns for those of you who may be making the trip across the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel, Causeway, and the Bankhead, moving along really well. And today is the first day of the new school year for kids in Satsuma. Keep your eyes peeled for school zone speeds as you make the drive this morning. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. It's going to feel like a steam bath early by the afternoon, about a 50-50 shot of wet weather. We're going to be flirting with 90 degrees for the high today. Dress light, keep the umbrella close, and we're going to keep the status quo as we head into Thursday. The weather pattern remains unchanged as we head into the weekend. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent. Right now we're here with Angelo, MobileBayCoins.com. Angelo was raised without television, only allowed to listen to radio and read books. That's why he has the intellectual firepower that he has. He was not harmed by television as a child, and he had built up a great mental fortitude before being exposed to garbage like Gilligan's Island. Now I mention this because Angelo does not have the same affection for Glenn Campbell that many people do. Glenn Campbell passing away at age 81. Suffering for several years with Alzheimer's disease. I had been advocating for Glenn Campbell to be included in Bayfest from the very beginning of Bayfest. And the city fathers and city mothers never, ever paid attention to me. Never, ever extending an invitation to Glenn Campbell to be at Bayfest. And then his health deteriorated and he was unable to appear, even if he had been invited. I believe Bayfest still would have occurred, that him being involved in it would have provided a boost, drawing people like me into the streets of the city of Mobile, and it would have been a bigger success had Glenn Campbell be included in Bayfest.
You'd have to have the concert, though, at what, 3 in the afternoon, Uncle Henry?
That's a good... You look...
I'm just saying.
Why not?
Most of the headliners, they start at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and you've probably been asleep for a couple hours by then. This would have swelled the attendance of Bayfest. Bayfest opens early. True.
Or it used to.
Right.
And it's no longer there because because my suggestions were never heeded, and Glenn Campbell was never invited.
That was probably a prior administration that did that.
Now, I mentioned it was several prior. You had Mike Dow ignored me, and Sam Jones ignored me on Glenn Campbell. Now, I mentioned that Angelo never watched TV. That means he never, as a child, was exposed to the outstanding entertainment of the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour.
Is that another variety show type thing?
It was a variety. Absolutely. It was a fantastic, one of the best ever.
How many of those variety shows were out there back then?
Just all the time. There were just constant variety shows. It was terrific.
And I missed it. Darn.
You did.
Darn.
You did. You missed. You'll never know the
Are those things on Netflix or anywhere?
That you'll find them on YouTube. A lot of them are on YouTube.
Okay, I checked. Make sure YouTube is not on my television.
I think one of the reasons that variety shows went off the air is that America watched in great numbers the Sonny and Cher show, and was enchanted with both the music and the comedy stylings of Sonny and Cher. And then we had a huge trauma, Angelo, huge national trauma when Sonny and Cher went through a divorce.
Right.
And then Cher did her own show, and then Sonny went away and did his own variety show. And it was very...
Wasn't the same, was it?
It was just, it really... I think that was a contributing factor to the end of variety shows, the trauma, the emotional trauma of seeing
them get divorced.
Yes, it was terrible.
And I missed all of this.
You did.
Lucky me.
Or unlucky you, depending on your perspective. I like that you're looking for the positive in that enormous negative. Joe Gomez is next.
Rush Limbaugh.
Hang on, let me check something here real quick.
No distraction can stop the dissemination of truth.
Damn it, screw it.
Today at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
On Tuesday, August 15th, Alabama will pick her next.
We're here on Facebook waiting for Joe Gomez to call the show right now. Cliff is with us. Cliff, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Henry.
Yes.
Uncle Henry, I had hoped that Mr. Eel would keep firing off them rockets and maybe one would have landed in China or Russia, and we took all of that pressure off of the United States, but I guess that's not going to happen.
No, they've figured out other things they want to aim those missiles at.
Well, I think that Donald Trump's his ratings are going to go up. I think the same people that keep hollering about his ratings are down are the same people that tricked Hillary Clinton into believing she had the presidency in a bag.
So you don't believe the stories that claim his support is dropping?
No, sir. One other report yesterday said that Donald Trump's rating was around 46 this month.
Okay.
You have a blessed day, Henry.
You too. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Cliff. I don't know that I pay much attention to job approval ratings.
Right.
I know the media loves them. We've got just a couple of minutes before Joe Gomez calls in. Is there some item you want to show the camera? Ooh, I like this. What is this?
That's a John Eck fighting knife, single-edged.
Fighting knife?
Yes, sir. John Eck knives have been around for a long, long time. World War II, Vietnam, Korea, you name it. Very simple, basic design.
Yeah, I really like the handle.
Oh, the paracord handle, the paracord grip? Yep,
Yeah.
They do those in different colors. They do some with wooden grips and things like that. That one's just sort of nice. It's a good grippy feel. It's not too hard.
Grippy. It is grippy.
Well, you
That's
need to be able
why
to
I like
hold
it.
onto a knife.
It has a grippy texture.
I've seen some of the ones, especially World War II knives, where people rebuilt the handles and used plexiglass and things of that nature. Makes it a real slippery knife. If it's rainy outside or you're sweaty or something's going on, it's hard to hold on to your knife. And if you can't hold on to the tool you're using, then you drop the tool. Now you have nothing.
This is intimidating. I mean, I would not. You don't want to have to be in a fight with one of these.
Oh no. You don't want to be on the receiving end of one of those.
No. This is something else. So now is this in your personal collection?
It is.
Okay.
I actually have two of those at the. They're not at the shop right now, but I have two of those available. If anybody wanted to buy one, they're certainly available there at the shop.
Okay, but you own it's a personal ownership thing. So in case you ever need to get in a fight, you've got it.
There you go. I do own a couple knives.
How many again?
About 400 last count.
Have all 400 cut something?
No. Many of them have not. I've got some that are display pieces that were collector's pieces, things like that. I've got a lot of ivory-handled knives that I bought years ago when it was legal to buy the darn things. And nowadays, with the way the laws have changed, you can still own them, you can still sell them, but as one of the local merchants found, you can't transport things across state lines. So you've got to be very,
There's
very
some
careful.
knives you can't transport across state lines?
Well, it's not necessarily the knife. It's what the knife handle is going to be made out of.
Really?
If you have an ivory-handled knife, for example.
Okay, yes.
And I've got a number of those in my collection.
Yes.
Or I guess if you had one with a jaguar fur sheath or something
Well, you
like
need to
that.
be careful that there's not some undercover agent coming in to ask about your handle.
Well, I don't break the laws when it comes to things like that, and I actually know what the laws are. I'm very careful about those things.
That is good, and that's what I would expect from Angelo.
Well, ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street in Midtown Mobile. Responsible. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Absolutely. All right, we're going to be talking with Joe Gomez, I think. There he is! Joe Gomez is ringing into the program, so we'll be getting with Joe Gomez here in just a second. Stand by. Uncle Henry Show back right after the weather.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. You can bank on more steam heat today. We will be flirting with 90 degrees for the high temperature. Half the viewing area getting wet. Our coverage will be at about 50-50, so keep that umbrella close. The weather pattern remains unchanged as we head into the upcoming weekend. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This morning at 9, ask the expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News headlines coming up from Fox and from Local 15 here with Angelo. And Joe Gomez is with us. NBC News Radio national correspondent Joe Gomez. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Joe Gomez, we're going to talk about the base of President Trump's support, and is it eroding or is it as strong as ever? And this is a big question here in our state because our state's really big on President Trump. He won here big time and had big crowds here in our town, both before and after the election. He just endorsed, though, he just made an endorsement on Twitter last night of someone in our big replace Jeff Sessions Senate primary. And so we're all wondering today, will that matter? Will his strong base of support go with him toward that candidate? Now, he's been saying, Joe Gomez, the president's been saying that his base remains strong, correct?
Correct, yeah. The president maintains that his base has not been crumbling despite low approval numbers that the polls seem to reflect. And these are polls that we're not just talking about CNN. We're talking about some other polls that have been more kind of true to the aim of where the 2016 election was heading. And they do show that President Trump is kind of losing approval, maybe losing some support among the faithful. Though President Trump maintains that the polls are continuing to lie or they're incorrect, he believes that based on the size of the rallies, some of these events that he's had, that his base is as strong as they ever were.
Well, I watched a lot of that West Virginia rally, and I can see why he would think that. The people there were just, every sentence, they were just, they loved everything they heard.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that was also a situation where you had the governor of West Virginia, who was a Democrat, flip over and become a Republican. And Trump has also done a lot when it comes to helping out coal miners. You know, when was the last time you heard a president use the phrase, I love, beautiful black coal? I mean, that was like...
Well, I would say never. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Probably never. So I think that in West Virginia, that might be a special situation. But he also had, a big reception in Ohio, in Youngstown, Ohio, when he was there recently. So... to your point though about that primary, it'll be very interesting to see how much weight his endorsement carries.
Now, Joe Gomez, normally I'm asking you to tell me what's going on. I want to share something with you because I think you'll appreciate this. The president did tweet out his endorsement of the current Senator Luther Strange. Now, you may remember Mo Brooks, who he's running. He's a congressman, and he's running in the primary. He infamously offered that press release asking everyone to drop out so that Jeff Sessions could have his Senate seat back.
Right.
Mo Brooks this morning has released a statement saying, quote, I respect President Trump, but I am baffled and disappointed. Mitch McConnell in the swamp somehow misled the president into endorsing Luther Strange.
Oh.
So the swamp, the Mitch McConnell and the swamp have somehow misled the president.
Well, I guess he's not exactly attacking the president with that.
No. In fact, he goes on to say that he supports the president's agenda and that the president has been misled by the swamp.
Well, even when President Trump clearly is kind of, at least in some way giving a backhand to Mo Brooks, he still is trying to win over the president's favor in this primary. Wow.
You have to. Hey, it's Alabama, and back to that topic of strong base. Mo Brooks, you've got to be with President Trump if you're going to win the Republican primary here. You just have to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense, I guess, but it's interesting that President Trump has that much power in that primary. So, I mean, I would imagine then if Mo Brooks is still trying to, scramble over trying to get some kind of support from Trump, which clearly he's not at this point, I would imagine, then I guess Luther Strange, I mean, it sounds like he's probably going to. I mean, I don't know how things work out there in Alabama, but has he been polling? I mean,
we've got the candidate that leads all the polls is the former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore from the state Supreme Court. He was famous nationally for opposing gay marriage and also years ago putting out a Ten Commandments monument. And he's likely going to be in, and I'm sure a lot of his supporters also are very pro-President Trump. So he'll be in the primary, and the polls predict it'll be against either Mo Brooks or Luther Strange. So we'll all find out next week.
Oh, wow. Well, that'll be interesting. That's actually, I bet that'll become national news. It sounds like an interesting primary.
Absolutely. Well, now, and the president's helping it become national news by jumping in with what he said was his complete and total endorsement.
Wow.
All right. Hey, Joe Gomez, great talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
There he goes. Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent. It's rare that I get to tell him anything.
Breaking news from Uncle Henry.
Well, not from me, from the press release from Mo Brooks. And I mentioned all these people that may end up being in the. You never know. I mean, Trip Pittman or somebody else might be able to.
True.
You just never know. After the last presidential election, I would hesitate to predict any electoral outcome.
True.
Let's see.
Certainly fun last time.
Let me quickly go into the email inbox. I've got an email on the topic. Subject line on the email is election. Email reads, who is Putin endorsing? And that email from Steve. Steve, no word yet. I don't follow Putin on Twitter, so I don't know. Let's hope the swamp doesn't
corrupt him as well.
Mislead Putin. More show to come. Thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show.
There are lots of reasons why you should get life insurance. Here are 2 big reasons you should get it now.
Hi, Mommy. Hey, Dad.
Your family depends on you. Talk to SelectQuote. It's easier and more affordable than you think to get the life insurance your family needs. SelectQuote got Richard, 40, who takes meds to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month, and got Vanessa, 37, a $750,000 10-year policy for under $21 a month. Call SelectQuote or go to SelectQuote.com today. Get up to 10 free quotes in minutes from some of the best life insurance companies out there, like Banner Life, Prudential, Mutual of Omaha, and many others. So, why haven't you called SelectQuote? Get your free quotes now. Call 800-719-5887. It's 800